Okay, I'm not going to tell you anything new. I swear this is going to be something maybe you've already heard before. It might be new. It might be new, but if you're knowing what's going on, you've already heard this before, right? So, all like methamphetamine, right? There's no such thing as being a bad drug. It's the delivery system that does harm to the body. So we have to put consideration into which chemicals were created by the hand of man, but which chemicals were produced naturally and which chemicals only came about by our intervention, right? And then they schedule containers for a substance that won't kill you and is not going to harm you, but all of the chemical changes induced brought on by man to get it to you, since you're already coming to the world with, now you're going to say, well, you don't come into the world with meth in your brain, right? But you to come up with a byproduct, right? So meth is in a intervals, like it's a one alchemical solution on its way to making another, and how to get it to you, how to introduce it in within if a organism that can manage it was under certain particular conditions. It can be processed and managed, and to come up with the alchemical gold. And all of these people that get arrested for dealing in these concoctions, right, is scheduled to listen to them, to report about how the effect and the introduction into your body, into society, into your neighborhood, into anything, right? So that it could be in a Bardello realm, legislated over, regulated over in a more protracted, since somebody is winning as so long as without the right delivery system, that these drugs are having a bad effect on the community. Somebody is winning. So the inefficiencies and the inadequacies or whatever, that's chaos, and from chaos comes order. Like inefficiency, you come up with regulatory systems, bureaucracies that treat an emergency, and then when solve the emergency, we continue to hold the emergency measure, whatever the measure was for the emergency. We can keep it after the problem is resolved, right? It's like, I don't want to go into too much on stuff because I might be wrong, but all the electricity traveling through your body won't kill you. It's the amperage, because you are tuned into a wavelength on a frequency that wants to attune to come into tuning, like tuning with Ma'at, right? With the laws of Ma'at. You want to fine tune yourself using the laws of Ma'at, right? So that you won't have to say the laws of, or repeat the laws of Ma'at for them to be true. Your soul will say it, which is more powerful if your soul says the laws than if you verbatim, you know what I mean, can just repeat it verbatim. And it so like it might be hard for people to believe you that the delivery system, that you can work out the delivery system for methamphetamines, and then you won't need it because you already have it. It's not until you work out the antimony or the holistic gold, you have to program, and then it's a charge. You charge the like water can be charged. Your body is what 98% water or some shit. Like space, right? Space distance between atoms, right? They won't vibrate, so then it becomes cold, right? Without the atmosphere, it would be cold because the molecules in the atmosphere rub together. The light causes them to rub together and creates heat in the atmosphere. And then the geothermal polarity, the geothermal kundalini of the earth, the poles, right, which you can see with the magnetic camera, you can see the meridians, right? Like you can see iron filings going around a magnet, and the earth has this, it pulls in the frost from space where there is more distance between molecules. There'd be distance between molecules so they won't vibrate, right? I was watching this experiment where they sent garlic bread on a weather balloon, and when the weather balloon gets to the top of the atmosphere, it pops, right? Because it bursts, or because it implode or something like that, because there's no atmosphere, and then the garlic bread drops, right? It takes a long time to drop because it's light, so it doesn't drop very fast. But when it comes down, it's frozen. It's frozen. And I think they're still teaching children that distance from the sun is the reason why the polar caps are cold. But because of it's like, because the truth is being obfuscated, or reality being obfuscated, right? Then we get a little bit of magic right before it snows, enters the atmosphere right before it snows. Like, it's like an isotope. It's like a tiny granule, and that's all we get, right? But for all we know, like, if you got more than that, it would be too much. It would be too much for everybody. Like, it keeps everybody sustained on a tiny little, like, less smaller than a grain of sand,